welcome to the data channel, and today we'll be discussing about data archiving tools and technologies, right? So when you are archiving the data, when you want to archive the data for the any enterprise level strategies, or it might be having a enterprise level requirements, so then you might end up using some of the tools and technologies that are existing to do archival. So let us see what exactly the tools and technologies that a cloud based, like maybe it is a cloud vendor or cloud providers has to provide, and there might be some tools which are readily available as open source technologies. So all those we will check in this video. And before proceeding, if you are new to this channel, we would recommend you to please subscribe and also press bell button for instant notification. So let's get started. Yeah. So just as a definition, a data archival involves storing inactive or historical data, right? And so it might be in a compressed or archived state, and it is more cost effective. It is secure and retrievable manner for compliance and regulatory requirements, and also sometimes operational needs. Okay, so basically what you do is it's just like keeping the unused files into some archival location which you are not accessing on very frequent basis, right? So those kind of data you will keep it in some inaccessible places, not frequently accessible places. So whenever it is necessary you can still use it, but it is usually not retrieved on a regular basis. So on the need basis, wherever is a compliance or regulatory requirements to keep the data for last 10 days, sorry, 10 years or 30 years as per the regulatory compliance requirements. So then you can go ahead and archive the data as per the regulatory requirements. And also there might be a operational needs as well, right? So that is just about the data archival, right? So if you want to learn more about data archival and the comparison we have done with data archival and the comparison that we have done with data archival versus data backup. So we will put that link in the description. You can follow the detailed video about what exactly the archival means and how it is different from the backup, data backup, right? So, but this video is more of understanding the tool set and technologies for enabling the data archival, right? So we will learn more about those tools and technologies, right? So first of all, what we will learn is we will understand what exactly the cloud-based data archival solutions are there, and on-premise data archival solutions has to offer. And there are open source data archival tools, if which is more cost effective for any organizations to use if cost is the implication, right? And so there is, so these are the like different tools in different what you say, whether it is a archival, who is providing it, right? Whether it is cloud, on-premise, or open source archival tools. But apart from that, so you have database archival solutions, right? So this is one of the archival solution for exclusively for databases. And there are certain we need to consider compliance and data retention management, and also tape storage and cold storage technologies also we need to understand when you're talking about the tools and technology of data archivals, right? So we will understand all these topics in this video. Okay, and let's jump on to start with cloud-based data archival solutions, right? Um, so these solutions leverages cloud infrastructure. Basically, it might be AWS, Azure, Microsoft Azure, right, and IBM, so etc. These are the cloud vendors in the and market leading cloud vendors. And so these provide a cloud infrastructure for scalable and cost-effective data storages. Uh, so it might be Amazon S3, it might be Google Cloud Archive Storage. Okay, it might be Azure Blob. Like see, if you're talking about AWS, right? So there is a S3 bucket in AWS. So that is not meant for archival, right? Because that is more cost oriented and it is used to store the live data or the data which is frequently used. Okay, but if you want to use the archive, if you want to use the cold storage kind of thing where you want to archive the data, so then you have to use S3 Glacier. Okay. So you have a blob storage in Azure, so which again, uh, like if you are using ADLS, data lake, right, in Azure, so that is more of where you create a delta tables, delta live tables, or kind of scenarios where the data is frequently accessed, right? But if you want to keep the files in the cold storage or like in a cost-effective manner, you have to use blob storage. So blob is very cheap compared to a data lake. Okay, and you can use IBM Cloud Object Storage as well, and you can have a Wasabi Hot cloud storage as well for storing all this archive data, right? So these are the different offerings that cloud vendors provide. So if you want to use cloud vendors, and so the advantage of using cloud vendors is obviously it is scalable, and in the long term it would be cost effective if you are scaling up and scaling down, right? So in that case. So moving on to the next one where the businesses that requires full control over their archiving data, right? So basically you don't want to depend on any cloud vendor, and you want to keep the complete control of the data which needs to be archived. So then you have to choose on-premise solutions, like this. Choosing this will give the obviously more confidence on security and compliance related, rather depending on cloud vendors. So yeah, I mean even cloud vendors are compliant with uh, like GDPR, HIPAA compliant the like solutions. But if you still want to use and take control over complete the archival solution, you can choose on-premise solutions like IBM Spectrum Archive. Okay, so this particular is tape-based archiving. It integrates with the IBM. Kind of a LTO Altium tape. Okay, so it's a hardware. Okay, what we are talking, which is a tape based, which is IBM tape. It's a kind of a tape that IBM hardware has, right? And next is Dell EMC Centera, which is by Dell actually. This is not by NetApp, it is by Dell. So here it is object-based archival storage for compliance heavy industries. So it is object-based basically, right? Like a blob storage. It stores it as a each files as an object, and so it is for compliance heavy industries like pharma, like banking, like trading, right? So you can choose Dell EMC Centera as a on-premise solution. And we have NetApp SnapLock, okay, which is by NetApp, and this is wherever you want to write once and read many times, compliance for a long-term retention. So in that case, you can use NetApp SnapLock. Okay, so here generally archival data is not frequently used. Okay, but in some compliance regulatory requirements, there might be where you want to read the data comparatively more frequently, right? So then you can choose NetApp SnapLock. Okay, so you have Hitachi Content Platform. So this is a scalable object storage with metadata driven retrieval. So so it is having a metadata driven retrieval. That means it can provide more flexibility on understanding the data more and better, because it is having a metadata about that data that is stored. So it makes the data maybe more accessible and more comparatively faster than any other tools, because it is having a metadata which understand the underlying data much better. Okay, and quantum scalar tape libraries. So this is by Quantum. So this is also a kind of a tape, LTO tape, similar to IBM LTO tape. Um, so this is having a encryption and automated retrieval. So you can choose that if there is a need of encryption, like and auto retrieval kind of a requirement. Okay. So now quickly we'll move to open source data archival tools. So first we have seen the what cloud vendors has to offer, and then we have seen on-premise what on-premise data archival solutions, right? So now we will see for both cloud vendor and on-premise, right? Whether it is on-premise or whether it is a cloud. So there is some cost implication. You have to bear the cost, okay, that these tools like has. Okay. However, when it comes to open source, in this case, the business that require full control over their archival data. So on-premise solution offers security and compliance advance. So in that case, you can choose open source. So open source is like for organizations looking for cost-effective and customizable solutions. Okay, so open source is cost-effective because it is not provided by any kind of a. It is not it's not a sellable product basically. It is readily available for customers to use as a open source, and it provides open source tools, provides flexibility. Even in few cases, you can modify the script or code that each of these tools has. Okay, you can start with Apache Hadoop HDFS. So Hadoop HDFS is a distributed storage of a big data, right? It is a core big data component where it is a Hadoop distributed file system, right? It is a kind of a because it is open source, you can just install in the machine and you can start using it. Um, so next is SEPH, Ceph, which is a scalable object storage for archiving and cloud integration. So advantage is you can work on a hybrid mechanism here, right? So hybrid in the sense you can use on-premise also and you can use cloud also, and you want to integrate both. So and still keep the open source archival tools and technologies. So then you can use Ceph. Then you have MinIO, so which is an open source S3 compatible object storage. So S3 compatible is nothing but it is compatible with AWS, right? So AWS storage like S3 cold storage or S3 Amazon S3 bucket, right? So then we have a Glacier CLI, sorry, CLI, which is a AWS SDK, which is also open source to manage the Amazon Glacier. So this is also related to AWS again. So then we have Archive-Metica. Archive-Metica is a digital preservation system for long-term archival. Okay, so you can use where there is a requirement of like say 10 years or 20 years of data archival, and you want to have that open source and a cost-effective manner. So then you can go for Archive-Metica. Okay, so now let's jump to understanding the compliance and data retention management, right? With respect to this keeping compliance and data retention management. So which are the tools available in the market today? Okay, so you can see there is a provider called Commvault. There is a which provides automated data retention and compliance support. There is a Veritas, which provides the feature of this is email and archival file archival with warm support. And you have a tool by VM, so which offers backup and archival with the disaster recovery feature. So then you have Micro Focus, which provides information governance and record management. So if you see all of these key features, so these tools are designed keeping in mind the compliance and data retention management. Okay, so if you have such requirements, you can choose any of these tools. So then you have we'll understand about tape storage and cold storage technology. Okay, so we were discussing about LTO, right? What is LTO? So LTO is a concept of IBM originally, and it is used by HP and Quantum. So LTO is a linear tape open storage. So which is a kind of a technology of it's a hardware technology uh, to to maintain the disk, actually the hardware disk. So like it if you have this kind of storage, LTO storage, it offers you the high capacity and secure tape storage. Okay, and there is a warm technology. So this is nothing but write once and read many times. So this there are various vendors in the market, and this prevents accidental deletion of for compliant needs. So where you want to read the data multiple times because of a compliance issue, even though you are storing data once. So there is you are not updating the data, but still you want to read the data in a more frequent way. So then you can use this kind of technology. So these are all hardware technology. We need to understand. See, so before choosing a tool, understand the underlying technology that is being used in the tool. Okay, suppose you want to have, you are having a requirement of like say backup and archival with a disaster recovery. So go and choose, go and check which are the technology, which are the vendors for that. Okay, and what are the technologies that are they are using, and is there any similar vendor which provides the same technology, like say cloud NAS network, right? So which this particular provider is providing, which offers backup and archival with disaster recovery, right? So this is also one of the technology of designing the hardware, that particular disk storage. And finally, we have micro focus content manager, which is the major provider is Synology and QNAP. So here the key features are low power, high capacity archival solution. Okay, so like if you have a huge volume of data, so then maybe you choose low power, because otherwise you might end up like having a high cost with respect to the power. So these are the, yeah, you need to understand the technologies behind the scene, okay, so that you can choose the right providers for the archiving the data. Okay, see, ultimately everything ends up in the how the hardware is designed, what is the technology behind that designing that hardware, that particular tape storage, so that we call it as a cold storage, right? So these are all the technologies we need to understand when you are deciding the tool for data archival. So finally concluding this, so as we saw, there is different tools and technologies available by cloud vendors and open source, and also there are uh, tools that are open, like we can use as on-premise technologies. But what is important is when you talk about enterprise organization, so you can either choose a hybrid approach where you combine cloud, on-premise, and tape-based solutions to kind of a balance the performance and cost. Because what happens is ultimately, so it is both is like ultimately both are the preference, right? You need to maintain your cost also, and maintain the performance also, because you cannot just blindly choose one technology for all the requirement, or all the projects that your enterprise or a organization is having, right? So each project might be having different requirements. A particular project might have different compliance requirements. So it is always, as an organization, it is better to choose a hybrid approach, and like pick and choose the technologies specific to each projects and each requirements of the projects. So that's all about it. Okay. So hope this was useful. Thanks for watching.